So last night, right? I was off yesterday, and I tell you what, I went home. I was just tired and I was exhausted. So I literally went home, you guys, after being up. I had to come to the office to run the coffee house for a little while, and because of the holiday, some of my companies were closed. I said, bump it. I'm taking the day off. I haven't had a day off in months. And so I decided to go home. And I tell you, I fell asleep at 11 o'clock, did not wake up until almost 2. That's how tired I was. I want you guys to make sure that you take time to rest. Rest, rest, rest. And I'm really, talking to myself because I really need to do it more. But what happened, because I had to sleep during the day, God was talking to me all last night. And so, and I was thinking, I said, Lord, I said, I'm supposed to be doing something. What am I supposed to be doing? And it was bothering me because I don't remember what I was supposed to be doing, y'all. And so it came to mind that I was supposed to be fasting along with Eva. And I felt so bad. I say, Lord, I need you to forgive me, because if anything, I don't want my assignment to be in vain. But sometimes you just get so busy, you forget what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you're busy running this, running this, running this, running this. And so I said, thank you, Lord. I said, I'll be in line. And so I'm in line today doing what is requested. And so, and then she comes up with the flyer, and I just felt such a fire in my belly. Thank God I repented already, because that would have taken me out. But anyway, let me stop. Listen, whatever God assigns to you, make sure you stay planted. Okay? Because people are going to try to talk you out of what God has assigned to your life. And then the enemy is trying to throw all these blows at you, trying to throw you off, or whatever the case might be. All right. So stay grounded, stay rooted in the word, stay prayed up, stay abounding, get connected with some people that are going to keep you alive and ignited. Y'all hear me? Because let me tell you, depression is real. Okay. Suicide is real. Hello, loss is real. A lot of people are passing away. A lot of people are dying. So stay solid. Stay about the Father's business. If it's fixable, fix it. Come on. Don't you be running around in a circle with Cussy and Pookie and them because you got an issue with something that happened 20 years ago. Man, let it go. If it's fixable, go fix it. For real, though. For real. Stop running from Cousin and Pookie and them, okay? Because let me tell you, love is at hand. The last thing that I want is to perish and not have a component of love, or a component of compassion, a component of love. If I say I love God, then I have to have his DNA, no matter how people treat me. The other day, man, I went to Saks Beach. Thank God it wasn't Chick-fil-A, because I would have to call Bishop Reggie about it. But I went to Saks Beach up the street here, and I was treated so badly. I left crying. But I had to get a hold of my composure. Then I called the manager after that, because if I would have done what I felt like doing, all them people know me to be Christian Mama D in this neighborhood would have said, oh, that heifer right there ain't nothing Christian about her. But sometimes you have to pull back, and you need to retrieve and count your blessings. Then after that, I called the manager. Coincidentally, you look at how God moved, y'all. Listen. I called the manager, and I'm sharing with the manager, not knowing that he knows me because he recognizes my voice. I have a unique voice. Y'all know how I roll. And so, and he just lets me carry on, and I'm borderline crying. I said, look, listen, I've been supporting this particular Saks Beast. It's 3 minutes from my job for a long time. I said, but the way that I've been treated today, I felt so humiliated. I felt so upset. And I said, first of all, you slapped me in my face about my husband's veterans, blah, 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 blah. And so he was like, Miss Ross. I said, wait a minute. How you know? I ain't say my name, And then the young lady that I actually complained about that was so rude is actually one of my old dance students, but I didn't recognize who she was because she changed her mind. See, if I would have snapped at her, she would have gotten the wrath of God right then and there, right? Y'all know how I roll. And so, and I told him, I said, listen, come by here. I'm going to give you a whole week's comp of free meals for the whole week. I said, okay, fixable, you know. And then he said, well, tell Sergeant Ross to get him some free meals too, because he was my husband's student at RTC. But see, if I would have snapped the way I would have snapped, see, we have to consider God in all of our ways. I know God is still dealing with us. He's still dealing with me, because one thing I don't tolerate is disrespect, and definitely not select customer service. Why do you think there's such a long line at Chick-fil-A? Y'all hear me? It's because of the customer service. Their chicken is good, but it's the customer service that draws them back every time. This Chick-fil-A, man, that line be wrapped. They actually created double lines with an overhang. Now they have an extra line going around the building. You got to be kidding me. I love Chick-fil-A, but I catch them right at the right time when they ain't got no line. But listen, Lindas, listen, when God is speaking, leave an impact of God. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you leave an impact of God, because if you're going to argue with the fool, I don't know who this is for. I don't know. But get yourself together. What would Jesus do? As whitish as this sound, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. As whitish as this sound, what would Jesus do? It actually works. Think about it. It really works. All right. So listen up, you guys. Listen, 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 listen. We don't have our worship. We don't had our Maverick. We don't had our, who was next? I don't even remember who was next. Anyway, then after that we had, oh my God, she got some good hair in that head, because she was shouting, and that hair, I mean, that stuff, boom, slayed right up in there. It wasn't going nowhere. Listen, when you can go like this and your hair stay in place, you got you an awesome beautician. That's all I got to say. All right. So listen, on tonight, I really got, no, that was no glue qua. That was a sewing. Don't play with me. I know it. Listen, my husband, he be like, baby, is that glue sewn or is that a wig? I'm like, baby, that's a wig. Look at all the gray back here, man. Come on. I'm weak. Listen, I gotta school you on it, girl. Anyway, that's hilarious. Anyway, so listen, let's continue to pray. Y'all saw Fred, you know, he's one of our co-worshipers, but he's taking a class right now. On the 31st, I need all of us to represent Kingdom Connection and do something on the 31st. Whether it's flagging, whether it's singing, whether it's something that you're recording and you want to load that day. Let's get together and have a united front and create a worship 31st of October. All right, y'all heard me? A worship 31st of October. That's what they want to do. And then y'all know after that, November is going to be lit. We're going to Alabama. Listen, if you scared, don't come. That's all I'm saying. If you see, listen, from Eva to Pastor Apostle Angelica Montgomery, and then Chris Montgomery. Look, I'm about to say AC, but anyway, listen, if you scared of you getting called out or get corrected, do not come to Alabama. If you scared, just say you're scared, okay? Look, I'm scared, but listen, I mean, take it, listen, if anybody supports, it's Eva. Let's be clear. Y'all hear me? That sister will fly and support, and that's why her harvest is big, because she's been sowing into the earth for many, 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 many years. Y'all hear me? So this is a harvest time. Do y'all see how many times that thing was shared? I said, ooh, Eva is lit in the community of the creative arts. And you know what? She just as humble as a bird. She's so humble. She be fighting that spirit of prophecy. But anyway, let's get to business. All right. So tonight, I want you guys to come with me and get off your pictures. Let me see some faces. I want to see some faces tonight. If you're able to come on, I want you guys to unmute yourself, and I want you guys to welcome this powerhouse team all the way from Alabama. Yo, right? Right? Yeah, y'all in Alabama. Lord Jesus, I'm so slow. But anyway, I asked them last month if they will come, teachers, and I'm going to introduce them as my family. their extended family through me and Eva. We all connected when I came to worship with them. I think it was 3 years ago. And we just connected from then. I'm so happy that they actually totally right before COVID, they now full-fledged business owners. I'm excited about their level. They're the realest people. And listen, they don't mind punching you in the nose if you get any way off when you come to Eva. And let me tell you, we done had some late night talks in the room to where we were all drunk and laughing so hard in the spirit. We done it all. So I want you guys to unmute yourself and welcome the Hartman family as they teach us how to be nonprofit businesses in the ministry. So y'all come on. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Welcome.
All right. So, hey, now this is how we roll. This is how we roll. So I'm going to, Jeremy, I'm going to make you host right quick. Bear with me. Here we go.
I'm gonna make sound. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, barely. Okay. Turn it up a little bit.
Hold on.
All right, so here we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hold on, y'all. I got all this.
Oh, she got the professional mic. Y'all see that? Oh my goodness. Look at here, Jeremy. Make your wifey look good, man. That's all I got to say.
Hey, anybody that knows me knows I love tech, and I'm gonna have it right.
All right now. Well, you need to hook the sister up, me and Eva too. Anyway, we're family. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all got it.
I got mine already.
You got yours already, Eva?
I sure do. I got a nice little mic.
Oh my God. Listen, you and the flags on the background and your mic, you are in a winning situation, girl.
All right, Jeremy, you got it? Okay, so you guys, we're gonna give you guys a bonus. So I decided to do nonprofit and LLC for you guys, okay? Because a lot of you guys have nonprofits and a lot of you guys have businesses that are for profit. All right. So we are going to talk about today kingdom business. Let me fix my mic. There you go. We're going to talk about kingdom business today, everybody. Basically, me and Jeremy, our business is called Hartman Consulting. You guys may see our part of our logo on Jeremy's background and everything. Go ahead, Jeremy. Let's go and get started, guys. All right. So let's talk about the purpose, first of all, before we start going and really going into talking about how to set up a nonprofit, how to set up an LLC. We kind of want to talk about what was the purpose of actually having a kingdom business. So we basically sometimes refer to as the marketplace ministry. When you go to events or anything, or when you hear apostles or people speak, they may speak of the marketplace. Basically, everybody on here literally has a purpose. So whether it's in business, whether it's assisting someone in business, this is basically to help you guys to understand it. Also, you drive as a sphere of influence in your community, which means that basically you guys are leaders. And so when you're inside of your community, you have that hand of influence. I would definitely have to say Eva has it, definitely say Jeremy has it, I have it. And different people on here, everybody should basically have some type of sphere of influence in their community. My favorite phrase, no, it's not biblical. Jeremy says no scripture for this, but this is my favorite phrase. It's broke, it's not biblical, period. Okay, so I go by this. I have this on a t-shirt. No, it's not a scripture in the Bible, but God does not want us broke. So that's one thing. He doesn't call us to live paycheck to paycheck. He doesn't call us to always be the borrowers. He also wants us to be the lenders. He doesn't always want us to not have. He wants us basically to be able to have surplus, to be able to help other people, to be able to grow, to be able to help other people grow their ministries as well. And then when we get to where we need to go, we come down, we help the next sister or brother. Psalms 112:5. That's the New Living Translation, says good comes to those who lend money generously and conduct their business fairly. And that's very important when it comes to that. Now, as far as lending money, we are the lenders. Hold on just a second. Okay, thank you, Desiree. We are the lenders and not the bars. Now you can lend people money, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. All right. And you guys can ask questions during the whole time as well. We will read it in the chat if you guys have questions. And there is a question and answer segment at the end as well. Go ahead, Jeremy. Okay, so let's talk about ways to embrace the kingdom in your business. Number one, you have to recognize God as the owner. God is definitely the head, whether you have a for-profit or a non-profit. Not only he's the owner of our life or the head of our life, he's definitely should be the first person that comes to our business. Number two, you want to make sure that you speak life into your business daily, no matter what's going on. Whether if you have a for-profit business, a LLC, and whether you it's a slow day. It's been plenty of days that me and Jeremy we've had slow weeks as well. Now, when COVID first began, like Desiree was saying, we actually had 9 to 5 jobs. Due to COVID, we lost our jobs and everything. It was a blessing in disguise. So now, yes, we are full-fledged business owners. So daily, I have learned the difference between working a 9 to 5 and having your own business. It's an up and down thing, but you definitely have to have faith. That's one of the major things. You have to put in the work and you also have to have faith. Um, Daily ask God for direction. When you get up in the morning, one of the major things that me and Jeremy we do, we actually don't start business until 12 p.m. unless we have a special request. So most times in the morning, we are making sure the kids are straight. We're making sure that we personally don't have anything to do, doctor's appointments or anything like that. And we make sure that we give God his time first. Also in the daytime, just daily asking God for direction. We make sure we both go before him and saying, God, bless our business for today. That goes back into speaking life. It goes back into making sure that God is basically the owner and saying, God, what do you have for me? We pray over all of our clients, everyone that literally we communicate with daily, just like Desiree was talking about, Mama D was talking about, even just going to the chicken place, you got to know how to really communicate with people. She could have went off and everything, because all of us, I promise, even before we went to Sonic, and we was getting food for the kids, and you guys know how McDonald's is. Like, you start ordering your food, and like, what you want next? Okay, they cut you off, like you can't even finish the sentence. But this one girl just blew my mind at Sonic's, you guys, today. She said, is there anything else I can have for you? And so we told her the next thing. She said, okay, is there anything else? And she was so calm. It's just the way that she is. I'm like, she has to be kingdom. Like, what ways do you separate yourself from the rest of the people, even on your jobs and everything? Not even just your businesses, but on your jobs. How can people tell that you're kingdom and everything? You have anything to say to that, Jeremy?
Yes. Recognize God as the owner. Listen, God is should be the head of your life if your kingdom. That's period. So God is the owner in everything. So you put him first, he always makes sure you're taken care of because he will provide for you. So he will make sure that you don't need anything. So that goes back into speaking life into your business. And it's not all what God has for you, but also how can you be a blessing onto the kingdom as well? Because believe me, it's somebody out there in the kingdom looking for your business that God has put into you. So you gotta be that blessing. It's some days, I'm gonna be honest with you, some days I'm like, man, I don't feel like being bothered. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't feel like doing this. And be honest, India come and say, hey man, come out of that. We can't have that. You're needed today. And that's what you gotta tell yourself. I'm needed in the kingdom today. Because the kingdom needs what God has put into you. So you got to make sure you put them first. You speak life into the business and as well as yourself to be a self motivator. Because when you don't have no manager standing over you when you run your own business, you got to get yourself up. And be honest, I'm ministering to myself a little bit too, because self motivation is like the key to business. It's the key, because let me tell you, if you don't get up and get it, ain't nobody gonna give it to you. Faith without work is dead. So you gotta have the faith to go out and work the business and go get it. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, and definitely, oh, Jeremy said it. Yeah, okay, so I'll have transparent moments. So I'm gonna say transparent moment. So transparent moment. Oh, Jeremy's like, I'm the person, you guys, that talks to all the clients. My phone is the number that is literally on the head of the business. So Jeremy, it's only seldom he have to speak to people, and most times when he speaks to the people, that kind of gets the attitude with me because he's very stern. So I'm nice, and I definitely talk to people, but once people start getting kind of their attitudes on, or it seems like they're trying to take me all around the world, then I have to say, hey, Jeremy, I need you to take the phone. Or hey, he'd be like, give me the phone. And you guys, actually, we had a call like that yesterday. Oh, we was in the car. A client called, and the first thing he said is, I want to apologize to you. He literally apologized to me first. He said, I talked to you last week and I talked to you reckless. And you guys, I couldn't remember who the client was. I get spoken to reckless all the time. So literally just understand what goes over here in our line of business. So um he goes, I want to apologize to you and such and such. So he started so he started to ask questions and stuff. And so I was like, I'm going to give you to my husband, because Jeremy was around then. And so basically, as soon as Jeremy gets on the phone, you guys, he changes tone. It's like whenever I put Jeremy on the phone, it's like, he means business. I'm like, why can't I do that? I guess I bring in the nice, ooh, we need your money type spec, and Jeremy like, hey, we got to get it. So just, it's, it was funny. He said, it's definitely, I normally talk to majority of the people, but whenever it's time to kind of get the business, or if they're kind of just going around the bush, he basically like, hey, let me get the phone. And yes, self-motivation. Because most of you guys work 9 to 5s all your life. Let me motivate you guys in this area. I worked 9 to 5s all my life. However, the last job that I got released from, I worked from Hertz from home, which is a car rental company, basically. So I worked for them for 6 years, basically. What that taught me is literally, I'm in the same office where I worked at. You literally have to be self-motivated. Like Jeremy said, you have to literally get up and you have to allow purpose to push you into what you're doing. Now you're gonna have the days. I have days that I think I had an amazing day yesterday to both of my clients that I did have counsel. I was like, just like, okay, good. It was a long day. I need the break. But basically just making sure that that you're asking God for direction, and also you be prepared to do the work. And you guys, prayer is everything. But you can't pray and not put in work. You have to go out there. You have to market. You have to market your ministries. You can call it an organization. You can call it ministry. You can call it business. I call it all. A nonprofit is a business, just to let you guys know that. Okay. At the end of the day, there's a business aspect to that as well. So for all of us, we may not all can handle the business aspect. We just want to do the ministry, but at least have someone in your corner that can handle the business part of it and everything. Also, sometimes God will give you the mental images. Follow him. So not Jacqueline, who was that? Kiara Sheard's song. She said she was talking about, she was going around and she was basically having images and things like that. And that was one of the songs that we picked, because it's literally, God will literally give you mental images of your ministry. God will give you mental images in dreams. He will give you visions and dreams. You have to write these down. I know one of the things I did learn is that, like, in the middle of the night, I promise, I think where we were, I think it was Tennessee, Desiree, and me, you, Eva, all of us. And then I went to sleep, and God woke me up like at 7 o'clock. No, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. No, that was Atlanta. Desiree. So we be around each other too much. But I literally got woke up into writing my piece for what I had to minister to people about child loss at the event the week after. Literally, when God gives you a vision, you guys, when he gives you the images, write it down. You may not remember it later, but as soon as he have a pen and paper next to your bed, okay? Also, Psalms 3:5-6, which everybody kind of knows, is trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. I put that in there because when you're building a ministry, when you're building your business, when you're building your nonprofits, you guys, it's not always going to follow the way that you think that it's going to happen. When you first start off, especially if you go from a 9 to 5 to working your own business, it can be hectic. It definitely is a faith step, and I didn't choose to come off my job. I always put statuses about, I can't wait till the day I can own my own business, and I guess it just literally it happened, and everything. So you have to trust in God You can't depend on your own understanding. And when I say your own understanding to that scripture is that you thinking that it's supposed to go this way. You're upset because the people that you think that are supposed to support you are not the ones that are supporting you. The people that you expect to show up when you praise, dance, mime, minister, they're not always the people to do that. When you start your business, you think that's the person that's going to share your work and show up. It doesn't always happen like that. And we call that a target audience. You have your own target audience, and you have to make sure that you don't allow the non-support of people that are around you basically to stop you from doing what God called you to do. Did you have anything to say to that, Jeremy?
All right, we good.
Okay. Trust God for creativity. There's so many ideas out here. You don't have to follow everyone else. I promise you guys, God will give you creativity. As soon as he gives it to you, write it down. My next one is operating excellence. That goes back to how Mama D was definitely now I'm sorry, fixing to say Chick-fil-A, but that one Chick-fil-A treating you like that. But she was at the other chicken place. And you have to make sure, look at Reggie, you have to make sure that you operate in excellence. Like, I think one of the most struggles is, like I was telling you guys, I think I've had someone disrespect Jeremy, a woman, like another woman disrespect Jeremy. And you guys, it was crazy because Jeremy was going back at the phone. He came and he brought me the phone. He said, hey, I'm going to need for you to take this because she's being disrespectful. So I could have popped off at the mall. Hey, you better not disrespect my husband. I got on the phone. I said, what, seems to be issue. She's like, well, you told me this and you told me this. I said, yes, that's the same thing that Jeremy just told you. Well, I just want to talk to you. And I had to let her know then is that this is Hartman Consulting, not India's Consulting. So you're going to speak to me, and sometimes you may speak to him. If I'm not feeling well, then you may get him that day. Or if he's taking the kids to school or anything, you may get me that day directly. But as long as your paperwork is taken care of and we communicate effectively, that's what it is. So I could have just popped off at the mouth, and there's a couple of times where she was disrespectful to me, which now you don't have to accept everyone in your business. Actually, I had that same customer, I basically declined the first time. She called me. She wanted me to get started here and there. And I said, you know what? That's something I can't do. She got upset because I wouldn't accept Cash App. I'm not accepting Cash App. Not on this type of money. No, I need for you to definitely go through Square. Let me send you an invoice and everything. So just make sure you guys that we are operating in excellence. And when we say excellence, that's the way you basically you walk, you talk, whatever you do, your response is everything. Social media is the number one. Please operate in excellence, you guys. What you say, Desiree?
India, let me add this too. So listen, all right, in the majority of a Black community, right? I'm gonna just be real, especially where I live because I'm in the rural area. When you give your shot, give it your best shot. Don't be launching your business 1 minute, 2 months later you pull it back, and then you going back up under new management, and it's the same people. Because you didn't project it right. You didn't get the education, get the knowledge, get connected to people that have launched businesses and they're running fervently and powerfully. Does that make sense? Don't be throwing out your business all willy-nilly and think it looks good. No, who you been talking, boo-boo, because that looks like crap. I don't know who you connected to, but you need to reconnect to somebody else. Do you follow what I'm saying? So glean, it's okay to glean. And I was thinking about that this morning when I was riding to work. A lot of people, we get so busy about, plagiarizing other people, especially in the creative arts. You know what? I'm honored you want to take my stuff, but eventually I want you to get your own stuff. Does that make sense? I mean, I love gleaming of other people because we all have to gleam off somebody, because God shows up through others other than the word and prayer. So, but we need to make sure that we're gleaming of the right sources, that we're gleaming of the right purpose, because you could gleam off the wrong purpose and you're totally getting your whole vision jacked up and messed up. All right, India, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. And Reggie said something earlier. He says, build a team. You guys, your team should be amazing. Your team, this is just any business, have a team to check that. Like, I'm basically one of the ones on Eva team. I check out flyers, all the stuff go out. If it's something that needs to be done, we need to make sure that it's done correctly. Make sure you have people that has a good eye for detail that's also on your team and that can be honest and upfront with everything that goes out. Do not get anybody just to throw a logo just all across the screen. When you step out and when you actually put it out there and you put the information out there for the business or the event, make sure that it's in excellence. I'm gonna say this because you guys please get headshots when it's coming to flyers. I do graphics all the time. I only get selfies. I know you guys, it may hurt some of y'all, but I'm just being so honest. Get a headshot. And if you don't have a headshot, you can literally I literally have a ring light. You can get a ring light. Ladies, put you some lip gloss on, get behind a white background and just literally take the photo. Create your own. So just make sure, you want to make sure that you're operating in excellence. Operating in excellence is making sure that you have a good headshot on that flyer. You do not want the person that's doing the information, doing the flyers, having to struggle with cropping. And I'm one of the one. I have to crop images all of the time. So, if it cuts you, I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest. It's nothing to get a headshot, you guys. You can literally create your own. And everything. If it's nothing, make sure that you're not having the camera like this, look straight at the camera and everything. Put something on nice and just definitely do it. Yeah, it's pixelated. It's just the images. That's also operating in excellence. And everything. There's a lot of free content out here with creating flyers, just making sure everything is done in excellence. Yes, that has everything. Everything. If you're gonna do a selfie, but even though I wouldn't say a selfie, like I said, if you have a ring light or if you have even some good lighting in your home, do not get like how I am. I don't want to take a picture here. Well, actually, this is probably fine. But if you can get a plain wall in your house, get your child or get somebody to take a picture of you with your face going forward. That's all you need directly. Just being honest, it's hard when you're definitely trying to crop images and you're trying to make a great flyer, but then you have a bad image on an amazing flyer. Okay. So moving right along. Sorry, y'all. So invest in what he guides you to invest in. This goes to a lot. Whether he tells you to invest in, we invested in ring light. I invested in one directly. We invested in the system mics because we do classes a lot with our clients. And so sometimes Zoom doesn't come good across come good across everything that we're trying to say. So this is like a little static thing. Don't ask me what all this stuff is. Jeremy set this up, okay? So make sure you guys are doing Zooms and you're the teacher. Just make sure you got some good lighting in your background. I literally had to bring up the ring light just to make sure that I'm not dark and everything. Making sure that you're investing in, if you're gonna do business cards, you can literally create one through Post on My Wall or Canva. Okay, you guys, you can print it at Office Depot or anything like that. For me, I don't do business cards in person. I actually have I have a mobile card. I do electronic because everybody basically is not in front of me all the time. And I'm not good with business cards myself. So I just take people to my business page and tell you to like it, to give you a point of view as well. So just make sure you're investing in, whether he's telling you to invest in stocks, whether he's telling you to invest in different printer. Sometimes if you keep being the one to run to the library, invest in a printer. Just invest in one, you guys. We have a printer, we got a copier, we got a scanner. I think I'm thinking about adding a fax machine because it looks like that's something we may need to invest in. So make sure that as God leads you, you invest in what you need to. Model biblical and positive business principles. So this is one of the things for motivation, you guys. Mark 4:21, the New Living Translation said, then Jesus asked them, would anyone light a lamp and then put it under a basket or under a bed? Of course not. A lamp is placed on a stand where its light will shine. So I use that when I feel like going in the dark. Like I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to deal with people today. Everybody in business. Some days, like I know I'm going to post a lot on social media. The past 3 days, I think I only posted maybe 3 times, which is not like me. But I just don't feel like it right now. I really don't want to be around a whole bunch of folks. So, and everything. So sometimes it gets like that. Like you really don't even want to deal with people, especially in ministry and things like that. So as God is giving you the visions and things for your businesses, your life, your family, don't try to take your light out and make other people around you feel better. No, shine your light. Do not look at your next person over here. Oh, they do that too. Don't look at the person ahead of you. You need to literally look straight ahead and do what God told you to do. If God told you to do it, that is what you're supposed to do, because literally it is needed for you to be in the earth realm for that particular reason. So just make sure that you guys are making sure that you're not allowing what everybody else is doing. I posted on my social media the other day is that when you go down the bread aisle, you guys, how many types of bread do you see? When you go in Walmart and you go down the freezer aisle, you see different types of vegetables and you see different types of brands. Everybody know Walmart goes by Great Value, but you know that there are other brands. So when you go down the bread aisle, everybody has the things that they like. And that goes with business. Sometimes when I'm literally on groups and I'm telling people, we do nonprofits, we do LLCs, there are people that come right behind me and say, I do it too, and stuff. And one lady, she called me, she said, well, you told me to call you. So you stood out from everybody, and everything. And then I was talking to her yesterday with a funny thing, and we were just talking. And I guess I'm a talker, you guys. And she said, you confirmed something prophetically for me. And I was like, okay. I was like, and she was like, you were talking about how basically I was released from my job and everything. And I was talking about that. And I was saying, if God has something definitely for you to do, he's going to make sure that it gets done. And he'll remove everything from around you to make sure it gets done. So if that job is in the way, he's going to make sure, hold on, wisdom, that you have the finances, or he's going to make sure it's set up first before you just leave it. So definitely it's very important. And so she said, when she starts to talking, she said, oh, your kingdom. And so that goes to embracing kingdom of your business. She said, oh, and I had a client the other day. She said, do you believe in Christ? What's your religious background? I said, I've never been asked that question. We're just talking business. I said, I believe in Jesus Christ. She said, okay, well, where's your link? I'm going to definitely support you. So never try to dim your light and everything. Never try to. And always continue to gain knowledge and remain humble. You got anything to say to that, Jeremy?
No, but she's absolutely right. Um, God give you a light for a reason. And another thing I want to tell you guys about those business cards. If you ever notice when you give somebody a business card or someone gives you a business card, where is it now? You lost it somewhere. You put it down somewhere, forgot it, clean up your office off your desk or something, end up getting thrown in the trash. Honestly, business cards in 2020 is kind of a bad investment. It's always best to either go with a digital, like phones. You could do V cards now, where you could just transfer your contacts just by sending it. That's always the quickest way to transfer information. And also Facebook. Facebook is one of the biggest networking sites it is. A lot of people don't do Facebook. That's the reason why you got Instagram, social media, and he said not in my area.
You still got
Yeah,
people that want
certain
business
areas people still. I'm just big cities and stuff like that, and then especially with COVID, people ain't too keen on taking nothing from your hands.
Look,
Now,
Desiree said she gonna give you that business card, okay? But Desiree, I'm gonna ask you, are you on Facebook? That's my business card to people.
yep.
I want you on my social media page. I do.
And
I'm very
I'm
friendly
a
there.
consultant quick. You want my contact information? Here's my website. Websites are great investments. They are great investments. Now, if you can't afford to build a website right then and there, but you're marketing and you're selling information, job forms. Job forms are free. And it's quick registration for conferences. It's quick for like selling goods and stuff like that, and as well as putting out your information. So those things are free. So you can also find digital forms of marketing that's free to you that will what type of sites? Job forms, you could do plenty of type of job forms. You could actually do business card job forms where it's just your information, the address of your location, your business logo, your name, email address, and as well as a contact form where people could contact you on it. Also, websites. My favorite is Ionis. That's what we use. It's very, very inexpensive. And then also, everybody like Wix. Wix, because Wix is easy to maintain. And it's pretty good, but my favorite is Ion. It's fast, it loads up fast, it does a lot. Yeah.
All right, let's move right along.
All right, move to the next one.
All right, so let's go into the business aspect. We go into the kingdom. Let's talk a little bit more business. So basically, when you're trying to form an LLC or you're trying to form a nonprofit, you ask yourself, are you really ready? I think that's the question that stops a lot of people. And stuff. Number one, you also ask yourself, do you have the support and money? So yes, can I afford this? Number one, can you afford this? Can you afford the filing fees that come with it? Can you afford the investment, the time, the money, and everything? Are you really prepared to launch this business and everything? Also, how long does the process really take is one of the number one questions that I think that we get in business. And I always tell clients the general amount of time that it normally takes. However, we have some clients that take a little bit over a year because of financial reasons. And so we allow them a little bit more time to kind of get their paperwork in and everything. All right. So nonprofit versus for-profit. Some people try to figure out which one should I do. They don't know whether they should make it an LLC or they should make it a nonprofit. So a for-profit pays taxes. Basically, you have your state taxes, your fees and everything, and you have nonprofits aren't charged for the amount they receive, which means your donations, your sponsorships, as long as you are 501c3, of course. Also competitiveness versus mission effectiveness. When you're dealing with a mission effectiveness, you have to make sure with your nonprofit organization or your ministry, you may call it, and everything, make sure that it's done basically by the mission. They ask you what's your mission and your vision statement and everything. Also, nonprofits also have a competitiveness side to it when it comes to grants and sponsorships. Just to add that in there. When it comes to a for-profit business, you're competing against the person down the street. You're competing against everything else. And to give you guys a just a tidbit there, when you're thinking about doing your nonprofits and your ministry, you want to also research who does in your area already what you do. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do it. You have to make sure that you're trying to come up with a mission that's effective in your area, but it does not do everything. You need to make sure yours stands out and everything. Having a mission statement that says, I want to help youth succeed in life, you need something a little bit more than that, because the other youth nonprofits in your area and youth ministries also want to help people succeed in life. You have to have a better mission and vision statement than that. Sales versus fundraising and sponsorships. This is all about your language. So when you're talking for profit and you're talking your LLC, you say, we have 10 sales today, or we had 3 sales today, and things like that. When you're talking more so nonprofit, you're talking about grants, fundraising, and sponsorships. That's how your language is basically with that. Earning profit by providing products or services that satisfy customers' needs versus providing products and services for other reasons than profit. And let me break this here now. Just because it says nonprofit doesn't mean that you're not going to make a profit. Is what you do with the funding for the nonprofit and how it's actually dispersed and how it's taken care of is what categorizes it as a nonprofit. You would have to make money in a nonprofit in order to fully succeed, you guys. So even though the name is crazy, but it's still going to be for that. So when it says products and services for other reasons than profit, you're basically providing a service or a product, but you're not trying to make money. You're only trying to make money for the mission. For an example, I for Mothers of Angels is a ministry that God gave me. I birthed about 4 months ago, basically helping women heal through trauma with child loss. And so I tried to come up with the first $1,000. So what I did was I actually came up with a journal that I created and ordered, pens, a personalized note, candy, and I make charm bracelets, and I put it inside a box. It goes inside of a box. So I sell it directly to people that want to purchase it for, family members or friends and stuff. They pay for that. The money that comes from that goes back into the organization. It doesn't go to my pocket. So basically, I was able to get the first $1,000 of the organization for that. So when you're thinking about funding and things are, how am I going to pay for this? Think about something other than, first of all, you can bring funds into your own organization when you're thinking about that. But also think about other things, that services you can provide, or things that you can provide to people. You can charge for services in a nonprofit, and everything. You definitely can. It's just the money is not going back directly into your pockets. It's going to the organization. It's paying for what needs to basically be paid for. And of course, owned versus founded. So I get this a lot. Nonprofits are not owned, you guys. So if you ever give the language of I have a nonprofit, say I am the founder of a nonprofit, or I founded a nonprofit, because it is a public entity. But when it comes to an LLC or a LLC or a for-profit business, you are the owner. You give ownership to that. Anybody have any questions on that? All right, moving right along. What is an LLC? Let's talk about this. This is going to be the easy part. So you guys, LLC stands for limited liability company. So basically you legalize it through your state. So it is a business. So if you want your business to be legal, you will create it through your state. So it will be an LLC. Getting an EIN number does not legalize your business. In the state of Alabama, getting your name reserved does not legalize your business. Your business is legalized through your state. So whenever you file the state paperwork, which is called the Articles of Organization, and they bring you back, you pay the filing fees. That is what legalizes your business. You become a legal entity, is what they call it, AKA business. It separates you and the business in case you're sued. So for example, I'm gonna use Reggie for an example. If Reggie sold t-shirts, right? And everything, Reggie would basically be able to, let's say Reggie sold t-shirts. I'm trying to see what else Reggie could sell. Reggie, what you supposed to be selling?
Shoes.
All right, so Reggie sells shoes, Reggie sells t-shirts and things, and he decides to do that. Somebody gets that pair of shoes, and let's say something happens with it. So they go, you know what, Reggie, it's your fault. I'm gonna sue you. So boom, if you're not an LLC or a legal entity, then boom, it's coming for Reggie. So if Reggie has any type of assets that belong to him, they come in for that. Okay. However, if Reggie is an LLC and he's legalized, they're coming for Reggie's business, not Reggie's personal life. And so it basically separates Reggie personal life, Reggie business, and everything. So that's the difference between the two, especially people that maybe cook or they do baked goods and people want to sue for poisoning and things like that. It directly does that. And also, let me tell you this. If you guys have multiple businesses and they don't kind of serve the same mission, you may want to get separate LLCs. All right. So what ends up happening is, for example, Desiree. If Desiree sold t-shirts and then Desiree sold tennis shoes, but then Desiree turns around real estate. Let's move on to real estate. The shoes and shirts can go in the same category, okay? But then real estate over here needs to be in another category because it doesn't serve the same thing. Because if somebody sues Desiree for shoes or a shirt, if the businesses are grouped together, they're going to sue also the real estate business at the same time. So that's when it needs to be separated. All right.
India, can I add this? Please
Yes,
make
ma'am.
sure that you guys realize, do not, like here where we are in my area, they very undereducated. So when I meet somebody, they want to get the insurance because, that's my job. They want to get insurance on their business. My first question, I ask them, what kind of business are you in? Then they tell me what they're in. Let's just say they're artisan contract. They paint houses, repair stuff around the house, blase, blase. Well, how is it listed? Well, it's under my name. Sweetie, okay, I'm gonna take your money, honey, because I need that money because I'm paying people here in the office. But this is what I'm going to tell you. By next year, when it's time for you to renew, I need to see an LLC on this docket right here. Because a lot of people, what they'll do is, for instance, we'll talk about Reggie. Reggie's doing business as shoes and t-shirt design. That's a big no-no because you're using your own social to establish a business. Now you're creating the liability to yourself. So that's that. Right. So like, for instance, with me, with my insurance, Yeah, y'all see my name right, but trust me, honey, that thing says Desiree Ross Insurance Agency LLC, because I don't need you to not pay your bill. Then come after me acting like you did. You don't got your attorney, sweetie. You ain't never give me no money, honey. You know what I'm saying? But now on top of that, I have to have insurance to cover in case I did forget to upload that payment. They have the proof that they made the payment, but I never loaded up to the company. And now they're driving uninsured. My errors and emission insurance is $4,000 a year. Can you afford it? Is the question. So make sure that you get educated. Like she said, the Raw Center, y'all know my business. I'm gonna break it to you personally. My Raw Center is another entity. They has a separate tax ID number and a separate LLC. So I'm dividing the components. So what I have tax deductions in this, then I have tax deductions in this, and the same thing for my properties. Wayne has some under him. Desiree has some. So we can have a level tax bracket. Eventually, I'm going to convert it to an LLC because I hate for somebody to get injured in one of my properties, but it's very complicated to do when it comes to real estate. So just to let you know, but get your business established. Doing business as T-shirts and Reggie Mutt's design is not going to work. It will mess you up if they slip and fall. All right, sorry, y'all, I had to break it down.
Oh no,
No.
you're actually right, because that doing business as is actually considered as a sole proprietorship. And that's when a lot of people do, when they do your taxes, they actually, do you have any Schedule C? And that's what sole proprietorship is. It's basically you're doing business as yourself, but you're not a legal entity under the state as an LLC. And it's different types of limit liability companies, because you have partnership, and you also have just single members, which those are sole proprietorships, single members, but you're still as an LLC. But it's only one single owner. So you want to make sure that when you're establishing your business, whoever's doing it for you, you read that information, read thoroughly, because you don't want to select the wrong stuff, because selecting the wrong stuff means more insurance. And then, Desiree gonna sitting there rubbing her hands, because that means she get to charge you more, because you to sign yourself up as an escort. And, you gotta be careful. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, so definitely, I'm fixing to answer you guys' questions, by the way. Definitely that's true. And a lot of people, they try to go the cheaper route and just get DBAs. Again, you guys going to get, and yes, to answer the question, you do need EINs for different businesses. So if we have Hartman Consulting, we need an EIN, and we needed a separate LLC. If we're doing Love Speaks, we got another EIN, but that goes nonprofit. Everything has to be separated. You cannot use a EIN number that's for a tax business for a t-shirt business. That's two separate things, you guys. So your name Qua, sorry. How long is an LLC in effect for? So an LLC is in effect for however long. It depends on your state and your annual fee, your annual report. So for Alabama, we have what you call an Alabama business luxury tax. So every year,
Dang. Oh.
so every year, so every year, and everything, every basically year, you have to pay this tax. If you don't pay this tax, you fall in line with the state, and you got to pay these fees because you didn't file your annual report. Every state doesn't require an annual report. 95% of states do. If you may call it a annual report, or may call it filing, a certain type of tax and everything. So as long as you log on and do your annual report every year, your LLC stays in effect until you dissolve it, and everything. Miss, you said, oh, sorry, Jim. What's that?
It's also called perpetual. When you sign your business up as a perpetual business, that means your business will run until you decide to close. Now, you can set it up where it starts at a certain date and end at a certain date. Just like these Spirit of Halloween stores that you see pop up all over the place right when Halloween get ready to come around, and then as soon as Halloween is over, they're gone. Those are seasonal business, and which you could set up businesses just for season. But we're not seasonal business. We always talk about the perpetual year round, 4-quarter business. That's how you work. Go ahead, Andy.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so another thing, Miss Kell says, I'm sorry, I skipped Miss Eunice, sorry. We have an LLC trucking business, but it is our last name. Is that okay? Yes, that's fine. If it's your last name, and if it's an LLC, you are the owner, so you can name it however you want. Now, when you come to a nonprofit name, that's two totally different things, and we'll talk about that a little bit shortly. And everything that's going to be totally different things. Kel says, is it possible to merge the different businesses while marketing? Yes, you can merge them. That's no problem. It's just when you do the taxes, make sure you separate them and make sure you separate how you do it. But if you have those different businesses and you want to merge them for some way, however you're merging them, that's fine. I have merged our nonprofit and our for-profit together. I've literally done a raffle ticket, selling raffles for an LLC filing, and all the money went directly to Love Speaks, which is our nonprofit, and everything basically to push money into the organization and everything. Come on, let's keep going so we can give you guys some more answers. All right, we kind of already answered this. What type of businesses fall under LLC? It depends on your services and things like that you have. Like if you guys want to be counselors, but if you want to get paid and everything, then you may want to do, Desiree Ross Ministries, such and such, and everything. That can be your LLC. Hartman Consulting is ours. Trying to think of another one. Just different other type of business, whatever you sell, basically, and you want to make a profit. Just think about your name. Also, your name also is going to carry you. So please, again, this is a transparent moment. Don't give any ratchet names, you guys. I have done so many businesses that literally I'm like, oh my gosh, did she really put that on the paperwork? Like, it's okay, it's your business, but some of them I'm like, I would not have it as a business because you can't really get I want to give you a grant underneath that name. So, so be careful. Huh?
Marketing. You have to think about, is my name marketable? Can I market my name? Because you think about your kids sitting there watching TV and your business name get flashed across the TV. Will you be okay with it? That will bother you. So you gotta just think wise when you name your business.
And make sure that it's announceable.
Yeah.
Because like Hoochiwawa marketing publishing. No, how do you spell it is the question, And I'm telling you, that all falls into the whole prayer line, because God will tell you exactly how to do it, when to do it. And when I left the insurance company where I used to work, and God said, I want you to start your own. I'm like, what? I was so scared. I was comfortable with my little $500 paycheck a week. And blowing it out the water. Listen, y'all, I wish I would have done that years ago, but I wasn't ready. I had to wait for God's timing. God's timing is everything. And he will give you the directives. He will tell you when to do, what to do. And so I was thinking about naming it after my grandson because he passed away. God said, no. He said, I'm going to make your name great in your community. And I says, but how people don't remember me? He's like, no, because you're going to use your face on your card. They might not know your name, but they know your face, because when people meet you, they remember you by your face. I suck at names. So he says now, then he told me, he says specifically, do not get me one of those big wall banners that you pay $500 a month for. Get you a little fiat, wrap it in with your picture and your name. And that's what I got. Riding it all around town, people taking pictures. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, why are they looking at me like this? And I keep forgetting I'm driving my own advertisement, but it works. And I'm only paying $172, including insurance, versus $500 for a standstill billboard. I'm driving my billboard in town, much more profit. So be smart with your decisions. But business, you have to have capital to start. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, she said something. She driving her brand around. You guys, you are your brand. Don't kill it. That really what I wanted to let you know, that the way you carry yourself can kill your brand. Literally, I have to literally watch what I say on social media. And I have posted something and deleted it. Like, okay, you know what? You can't post that today. A client has literally frustrated me. And I literally wanted to go on and say, I actually was going to post on Facebook, don't disrespect my husband. But I was like, don't do it, idiot. I was like, no, don't do it. You'll kill your brand. I know you guys see people on social media always talking about their clients this, their clients that. I had one young girl say, "Stop asking me, is it on hand?" Because she sold clothes. She was like, "Do you ask Walmart?" I said, "But Walmart's a big company. I'm gonna ask you, is it on hand? Because unless you tell me and you put it out there, do you post it that it's on hand?" She was like, "No, but why should you ask me that? It's supposed to be pre-order." That's not true. You can't expect people to know what you're trying to sell. And I've had to literally tell a friend of mine, because she sold t-shirts, and she literally, I got my neighbor to purchase some shirts from her, and her and my neighbor got into it. So I'm over here like, "What's going on?" She was like, "The girl you sent me, I don't like the way she talks to me." So I'm like, I'm going to my friend over here like, "Man, what have you done?" Like, and she was like, "I told her it's gonna be a Gildan t-shirt." I was like, that girl doesn't know what a Gildan t-shirt, just like I didn't know. I don't know all of the creative arts language. I learn it every time I come to a conference. I learned different things like that. I forgot what they call the flags. What do we learn in Atlanta? What the flags are? You guys see? I learned. I learned.
Banners, girl, banners.
Oh, it was another word that he used when he was in Atlanta,
Oh,
but it was another word he used, and everybody was like, "What does that mean?" So don't expect for people to know what you do. Don't expect for people to know the knowledge behind it. I do not expect people to know what an LLC is, because guess what? That's what I'm here for. This is the reason why I'm in the earth realm, for literally to teach people the kingdom way of how to handle a business. So don't expect that. Teach them and everything. Go ahead, Jimmy. All right. Do I need an LLC? I get
Yeah.
this question a lot.
Next question.
I would say yes if you're really serious about what you're doing. We've kind of already talked about what you need it for, tax purposes, what you need it for as far as what if you are doing taxes, or if you're trying to get a house, kind of like on the last Tuesday what she was talking about. Make sure you have your business set up, because you got to have 2 years of taxes and everything for that business in order to get a home. That's what the I forgot her name that you had last week, Desiree. So yeah, just learning. Yes, if you plan on becoming self-employed, be legal, okay? Because if not, you're gonna be sitting there, basically, and you're not gonna have the legal paperwork that you need. So you have to ask yourself where you're trying to go. Is this something you're really trying to do? And then you have to think about the income. Okay, do you have your marketing planned in that? Do you have the different things like that? So that's the type of things you ask yourself if you really need it.
I'm gonna add one more thing to that. I know you're going
Okay.
somewhere else. I'm gonna add this. Whenever you start your own business, though, as a side note, we'll give this like a little carrot side here. Make sure you keep up with all your receipts every month. You can show a loss for 3 years, but it cannot be a big loss and then a bigger loss and then a bigger loss. No, you have to show a big loss with slightly growth, with another set of growth. And after the third year, you should be profitable. If not, shut the business down because you're not making any money. All right. But if God spoke it, it will succeed. When he tells it, he backs it up. Don't you move prematurely and you got mad with your job and you don't left and you ain't got no other shoe to put your foot into. Don't make hasty decisions because you're hearing all this. Yes, I'm ready to start mutts, shoes, and t-shirts. Boy, you better stay at Chick-fil-A a little longer and get that management training.
You better just to encourage you guys. We worked Hartman Consulting for 4 years prior, with just being a side hustle. We went from one client or two clients a month to we have quite a few a week. So we're literally right now we have 12 open clients for nonprofits. Now LLCs we throws in and out. But basically, so she's right. Like, you guys don't just walk away from your 9 to 5 jobs. Yes, God gave you the vision, but God's also going to provide you the provision, and he's going to give you the strategy. Work it on the side, see how it rolls, and then go ahead. Okay, definitely I see this is how I can do this. Make sure you can hit a fall or understand. Like, there have been a couple of times, like I said, me and Jeremy have made like $45 in a week, and everything. You got to continue to say, okay, keep marketing. When the money go down, I start marketing more and everything. I put it on my social media pages. I put it in marketing groups. I follow up with clients that were thinking about it before and things. That's when you kind of just push back up. You find your marketing to those, because yes, they may not call you today, but they may call you in a month. I have people to say, I talked to you 6 months ago, but I've been watching your Facebook page, and you know what? I'm ready. It does take patience. It takes a lot of patience, because being an entrepreneur is like an up and down scale. Like today we can make $1,000, and tomorrow or next week we can make zero, and everything. You have to make sure that make sure yourself is sustained, or if you're gonna leave your job, make sure that you heard from God. Please do not leave just to be leaving because you don't feel like working. These people get on your nerves, and you make $1,500 a week so you can make it on your own. Don't think like that, okay? You got to think about more than the $1,500 that you made in that week. You got to think about are you gonna be able to do the workload? Are you gonna have an assistant? Some days me and Jeremy like, hold on, let me see if I need to hire an assistant, because it was the workload got a little tough. Then I noticed that in 1 week things slowed down, and so then God really dealt with me. He said, no, I needed to slow down so you could do the work. I gave you enough, do the work, pick back up and everything. So definitely you have to know, you definitely have to know your work. You have to know your strategy and everything. Please do not just jump off a job. That's what a lot of people problems are. They jump off jobs and say, God got them. I love y'all, but please don't think that way. God got you, but God say stay on that job. Register at Chick-fil-A until God show you different. All right. So just make sure. What is the cost associated with it? To guys give you a background of costs that are associated with an LLC. So what you're gonna have is a EIN is free. I don't even charge people to fill out their EIN. It takes 5 minutes. Okay. The most common problems with getting EIN numbers is the way that you file it. Okay. I've had people that literally supposed to get a nonprofit and put it as an LLC. Okay. Make sure if you don't know what you're doing, just get help and everything. EIN is $0. There are some fake sites that literally will charge you, okay, and everything, but definitely EIN is free. If you don't, you can always ask a person to help you. You can ask us to help you. I get an EIN in 5 minutes, as long as you haven't already filed one, and everything. You can only get 1 EIN per business per day. All right, so you can't get three EIN numbers tonight. Okay, so also, you need to make sure that the name is available through the state. All right. For 95% of states, actually, I want to say all states require LLC to be at the end or limited liability, but most of us just put LLC at the end because nobody wants that long name. Okay. So it may be Desiree Ross LLC, or your trucking company, Miss Eunice, LLC, and different. Yes. So you definitely, now you do not have to put LLC in the name when, like, let's say you get a building, you don't have to have LLC on there. Just by paperwork, you need in every type of legal paperwork, it needs to say LLC at the end. So again, your EIN, do not file for your EIN first. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Make sure the name is available first, okay? Because if you get a name directly and it's not available, then you got an EIN for nothing, okay? So first, make sure the name is available through your state. You can go to your state secretary of state website. So if you guys, what state are you guys in? Most of you guys.
North Carolina.
Most of North
All right, so you got North Carolina. So you look up NC Secretary of State and everything. Ohio Secretary of State. You'll basically go to these places and go to Secretary of State and everything. So when you do that, Pennsylvania Secretary of State, Latifah. So basically, it's simple. As simple as that. And so they'll tell you the filing fees that are associated with what it costs for the state, and then they'll also tell you your fees that you need as far as with your annual fees. Okay. Now, I only know some states by heart with the LLC costs. Other ones I have to look up. I know the highest one I think is Nevada. Nevada is $425. Texas is $300. Alabama is between $153 and $181, depending on your county. Yeah. Some states are on Texas. No, Texas is
Texas is like $100. So I thought California
Yeah.
was $300.
I have a listing of them on our computer of the states and everything, but some of them are high, but some of them are not. So really, it depends on your state. And then once you do that, you just need to know what your annual fees are and everything. So that's to answer your question, you guys. That's really all the fees associated with getting an LLC. Go ahead, Jim. All right, so let's go nonprofit ministry, okay? We call it our ministries, our organizations, and everything. So I'm gonna go through this a little quicker. It's kind of. So what is a nonprofit organization? It's a tax exempt or charitable, meaning they do not pay income tax on the money they receive for their organization. And we mean federal taxes, not state taxes. They can operate in religious, scientific, research, charitable, or education settings. They provide a way for people to work together for the common good, transforming shared beliefs and hopes into actions. They feed, heal, educate, inspire, enlighten, shelter, and nurture people of every age, gender, race, sexuality, and socioeconomic status. They should drive growth, engagement, community service, leadership within our communities. This is my favorite picture here because when you become a nonprofit leader, founder, you are a leader in your community. Make sure you guys know that. All right. All right, let me keep going in, y'all. I guess he stepped away. Can we go to the Secretary of State's website to find the yearly fees? Yes, Kels. You'll just go to that. I'm gonna give you another. I'm gonna give y'all my secret where I go to find my fees. So you can type in your state on Google. All right. I'm sorry, my phone start bringing up Google on my phone, y'all. Sorry. And type in your state LLC University. Okay. I just put it in there. So let's say some of you guys are from Ohio. So you can go to Google and type in Ohio LLC University. And it's going to literally bring up the fees. It literally tell you at the front how much it costs to file. And it tells you your annual report fee on there as well. I just typed it in the chat for you guys. So whatever state that you have, you can type it in and it'll tell you the fees and everything. Okay. And also as far as nonprofit as well, Secretary of State information is on the state's website as well. All right, how is a nonprofit formed? Normally I take time, but I'm gonna run through these. The first thing on your process, number one, if you need to make sure you can either develop your name first or develop your vision and mission first. It just really depends on which comes first right then and there. As far as with your name, again, you want to make sure your name means something. Your name for a nonprofit should not be self-seeking. Meaning, like I wouldn't put India Marie Ministries under a nonprofit. I wouldn't, because it literally needs to be able to help somebody else. Somebody asked me one time, can I name it after my aunt directly? And it was a one for diabetes, actually. And I said, well, did your aunt have diabetes? Did she pass away? I kind of asked those type of questions and things. And she said, no, I just like my aunt. I wouldn't name it after my aunt if my aunt literally wasn't the cause of that, or the handles that cause and everything. Be very careful with the names and everything. Now you can have different programs. I told her you can name a program after your aunt because she was a major part of your life or something. But definitely when you're naming your nonprofit, you want to make sure that it has meaning. Your ministries, make sure it has meaning behind it, especially if you use acronyms and things like that. Also, your vision and your mission. So in the kingdom words, I tell my clients, your vision is what you're called to do. All right. That's overall what you literally are called to do, what you're supposed to be doing. That means that whatever programs, whatever events, whatever you're doing, overall, whatever you decide to do, it needs to line up with this vision. Before I join anybody's ministries, before I literally, anything I do, I have to make sure I literally understand their vision. If I don't understand their vision, I wouldn't serve it. All right. You got to make sure. Another thing, your mission is how you are set out to do it. So you have your vision, which is what you're called to do. Your mission is how you're set out to do it, right? So my vision for Love Speaks, I'll give you that, is to renew, reconstruct, and revise the minds of our youth. Simple and concise. It's not 4 paragraphs. Now, it may start off that way and everything, don't get me wrong, but it needs to be clear and concise, all right? So my mission, how are we going to renew reconstruct, and revise the minds of our youth. We're going to implement consistent based programs within our community to create the new norm. And know you guys like, well, I have all this on my heart I want to do. That's when you hit them with the what we do. They're gonna ask you, okay, well, what do you guys do? Okay, we do resume writing, we do mentorship, we do different things like that. If a person is interested, they're gonna keep you to talking about what you do. If they're not within that first vision, you don't basically they can't help you. That goes to sponsorships, funders, or even trying to give somebody your vision because you need to use their building. Simple as that. Okay. So after you, let me see what Kim said. Mine is God's instrument court, but you must have your structure set up correctly. That's correct. That's definitely correct. Yes, you could be an umbrella court, but you must have your structure. Okay, Jeremy said that to her. I'm sorry. So basically, so after you do that, you want to make sure that in the state of Alabama, it requires that we reserve our name. I know we're the only state that does that. So for the state of Alabama, we have to go and reserve our name first. For anybody else, all you guys, other states, you just need to make sure that the name is available. That's it. Okay. Once you come up with that, you're going to file your articles of incorporation is what they call it. Okay. That means you're becoming legal with the state. So that articles of organization for an LLC, that was to become legal. For a nonprofit to become legal in their state, it's called the articles of incorporation. All right. You're incorporating. So you don't have to write your articles. I get so much language. So to make sure, you have to just fill out the paperwork and the state takes care of all that for you. And again, you can find all the information on your state's website. Okay, you guys. Your articles of incorporation may include registered agent. You may hear that and everything. What a registered agent is the person that is responsible for receiving the paperwork on behalf of the organization and ministry. Okay. If you guys are at home, please be your own registered agent. Okay. But if you're always on the go and everything, then if you have an auntie, like if we would choose my mother-in-law, because she's at home all the time, 9 to 5. If she go to a doctor's appointment, she come back home, you got those people, let them be it. It has to just be within your state. Okay. And everything. Do you have to have a board for a 501c3? You have to have a board for a nonprofit. Yes. So 501c3 nonprofit, 501c3 is just the tax status, Desiree. Is Desiree. And so, and everything. But yes, a nonprofit, remember I told you guys, a nonprofit is not owned. It is managed by a board of directors. We're actually going to talk about that on the next one. So yes, you have to have a board. Okay. And that's why most people don't want to go into it, because they want to own it. And it's not like that. But if God led you, I promise He's going to lead people to help you with your mission. All right. So on the articles again, the registered agent, some articles require you to go ahead and put your board there. Some states don't require. I know the state of Texas does, Alabama does, and most states don't. So that's how most people end up through the legalization paperwork without board members, because it doesn't require it. All right. And so once you file your articles, you turn it into the state. Some you can have to mail in. Some you can take down there, and some you can do online. Okay. Every state is different. And so once you do that, like in the state of Alabama, give it about 5 to 7 business days for us, it will be in the system. Now they're a little slow right now because it's been 7 business days. So they're a little slower. Texas takes a little longer. Ohio is pretty quick. So don't have to worry about Ohio. Ohio's pretty quick with the articles and everything. They have been coming back pretty quick and everything. So once you get that information back, congratulations, you are now a legal nonprofit organization within your state. At that moment, you're legal. You are a nonprofit. All right. And so after you do that, that's basically when we file for the EIN. Yes, North Carolina is quick as well. EIN basically, you file for it after that and everything. Your EIN is connected to the 501c3, which we're going to talk about what that is, you guys, and everything. Your EIN is the social security number for the organization. It is very important. You have to make sure that the name on your articles of incorporation matches up with the name that is on the EIN. So just make sure. So if you have Little League Ministries as the articles, then when you do the EIN, it can't just say Little League. It needs to say Little League Ministries as well. Make sure everything lines up. A lot of people don't line it up. That's one of the other major mistakes. And then they have to go back and amend their articles to change. All right. So after the EIN, you have what you call the bylaws and the conflict of interest. Okay. So the bylaws are the governing source of the nonprofit. Basically, that is the outline by state what you have to have. Yes, it is mandated to have it. No, it is not hard to do, and everything. But we do bylaws here, and I think Jeremy writes those. I don't touch those. That's his line of business. I think I can't remember how many pages there are. Jeremy, if you want to type in the chat because he's having mic problems, and everything.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Talk about the bylaws. Thank you.
Okay. All right, the bylaws, these are the governing rules of your organization. This is how you vote. This is how things get done inside your organization. It is very important to have this stuff established. It's basically the constitution of your organization. And it's something that I was listening to Miles Monroe podcast, and he said the more rules your organization has, the more corrupt it is. So, but it also covers you as well. So if you're noticing certain things from certain leaders and people that's coming into your organization, and you have to put things in place to prevent, a conflict of interest or people taking money or people doing things they ain't got no business, implement them rules, because that covers you in the long run. Because if you find someone doing those things and you already have them established in your rules, guess what? You could sue them or you could take legal actions against them.
Definitely true.
Eunice have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Eunice.
So my question was, in New York, when I was living in New York, I had started paperwork on a nonprofit, and I didn't get to the 501c3 part. So that's why I was asked. So it's still a nonprofit, even though you didn't get your 501c3 status.
Yes,
Correct.
that is correct. But you have to make sure that you file. If that state requires you file an annual report, if you did not, then definitely it can be dissolved on that end due to you not filling out the paperwork. But
Okay.
you literally, all you have to do is go to New York Secretary of State business search, Google that.
Right.
And then business search, type in the name of the business. If it shows, it'll tell you if it's dissolved or if it's not in lines with what needs to be lined with, and you just have to fill out paperwork. It'll tell you, or if it tell you if everything is in good standing, what they call a good standing certificate. It will tell you whether or not it's good. If it's dissolved or it's not working or anything, you just file all paperwork. I would not reuse the name because
Right.
number one, they're going to charge you.
Okay.
And the fees are more expensive to come
Gotcha.
up. You might as well start a nonprofit organization and just do it accordingly that way.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Answer all the questions.
Okay. So also what Jeremy was talking about with the funding, you guys don't get caught up with the funding. I had a guy, I have turned down business before, and I had a guy, he was fast talking, you guys. He's like, I'm ready to pay you. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? What's the mission? And he's like, he was doing one of the little Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta, some things. It's so many groups out there. So I'm like, okay, well, give me a little bit about you. He's like, I'm ready to pay. I'm like, I want to know what you do. I'm sorry. I have to know whether I can serve you and everything, because it's not just about money with us, literally, and everything. So he goes, he was trying to go ahead and become 501c3. He had already had his articles. He had already actually have his 501c3, but it got revoked. Okay. So when it got revoked, he asked for me to fill back out the paperwork for him. So I asked him a personal question, was not personal business. Why was your status revoked? I want to know before I, fill it out. He was like, something happened and it wasn't nothing serious. So I was, I told him, I said, you know what, at this time, I won't be able to fill out that revoke paperwork for you, but I send you to somebody who definitely can do it. You guys, I get a phone call yesterday. He goes, have you seen the news? First of all, I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, who is this? He was like, this is such and such. I talked to you about a few months ago. I was like, oh, hey, how are you doing? And everything. He goes, yes, you seen the news? I was like, no. It was national news. I said, I'm sorry. I haven't watched the news today. And he goes, yeah, I was on there because they're trying to say that I stole grant money and I used the funding directly for this. I'm like, am I really getting this phone call and everything? So I'm like, wow. And so he goes, but I didn't do it. And I'm like, okay. And so I really didn't care at that moment and stuff. And he goes, I just want to know, just answer my question. What can I use grant money for? Or what donation money, such and such? And I'm like, you know what? I'll give you a call back once I get, such and such. And I'm like, that was the most craziest call. So when Jeremy said that, you guys, please be careful. Do not become nonprofit just for the money. Please don't do it. Okay. They are watching you. Okay. The IRS do not play about the money. I think everybody knows that. And everything. So basically, like Jeremy said, the bylaws, and then the conflict of interest basically is just like it says, a conflict of interest, making sure there's no conflict of interest between us. Let me give an example. I'm gonna use y'all too. Desiree and Eva. Like if Desiree started an arts academy, or you have one, I'm sorry if I don't know directly, and then Eva has an arts academy, you guys couldn't serve on the same board, unfortunately. You couldn't serve on their board. You can help out, you can volunteer, you can help out, but whenever you're serving the same type of people that's basically for the same mission, then it can become a conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest that happens is when it comes to grants. Of course, Desiree is going to push it to her organization, or Eva's going to push it to her organization, and different things. And also it can just be messy. Like I was talking to someone yesterday, and she actually works for a nonprofit, but wanted to start her nonprofit. The first thing I asked her is, make sure that your business, your nonprofit that you're working for, does not have a do not compete clause. Please make sure that you don't get sued. Because she was like, oh, well, they do this, I might as well do this. No, you can't do that. Make sure that you haven't signed paperwork. Well, I'm sure I didn't sign nothing. I'm sure it's there. So businesses and things that in these jobs that you guys have, just make sure and everything. And also at the end of the day, your 501c3. 501c3 does not make the organization legal. Again, your articles of incorporation does, okay? The 501c3 provides a tax status for federal taxes that you can allow to become federal tax exempt, not state tax exempt, federal, okay? And so what that does is that you can get grants and things like that. You can get sponsorships, but they can become tax exempt. So if Desiree business wants to donate to Love Speaks, or to Peculiar Generation with Eva directly, her business can write that off on their taxes directly and receive it, and basically it balances out the books. Your 501c3 is what makes the difference between getting a $25 Walmart gift card and getting a $5,000 community grant. Okay, two different things. Okay, anybody can basically go to Walmart and get a $25 card as long as you have a mission. They kind of support all of them. But when you have a 501c3, by the way, you guys, it's October. This is when they give out the grant money. Y'all, there's so many grants. I'm actually teaching a grant class. What today is? Tuesday, Thursday, and everything. So directly. So when we're teaching this class, I'm telling people like, hey, you may want to get in. I got 44 pages of grants. And I know I would stay on the phone and feel like grants all night with a headache, and everything. So definitely. And I'll tell you guys, because everybody, well, this doesn't go on social media, but we actually landed our first big grant. And so definitely it was one of those things. I'm like, whew, it's definitely something that, fourth quarter funding, Jeremy said. So they have to, because guess what? They got to do taxes. So what they trying to do? Write off the rest of this so they can do their taxes so they don't have to owe. So that's the difference between these businesses giving you different things. A lot of people say, I need to go ahead and be 501c3 because this person or this business is trying to give me $25,000, $50,000 and things like that. A lot of nonprofits came up and a lot of LLCs came up due to these SBA loans because they wanted the loan money and the grant money and stuff. So also you had to be a legal organization for that, or a legal business for that. And a lot of people were not legal and everything. And so, or they only got it to get the money, and then boom, they're not going to operate after the fact. God is going to hold you responsible for that, just to let you guys know. Make sure that you're doing right things with the money. What you said, Ms. Eunice?
So question. So you're a legal nonprofit, but you don't have your 501c3, but somebody decides they want to donate to you. Do they get to write that off even though you don't have the 501c3?
They cannot be tax exempt. No, not with a 501c3. Basically, them giving your organization money, they can write off as a charitable donation, but it won't be like a tax exempt type donation.
Okay.
The 501c3 is what businesses want. Basically, like, hey, you got your 501c3. And that's basically why a lot of people go towards the 501c3 because they need to get the money into the organization. 501c3 also speaks volumes in what you call as in-kind donations. For example, if Desiree owned a building or had a building directly, and her building is normally $650 a month directly, and this is what she rents it off at directly, then I can go to Desiree and say, hey, Desiree, Love Speaks needs a building. We're 501c3. Can I give you $200 a month in cash and the rest $450 in in-kind donation? Desiree writes off the $450 per month on her taxes of her business. That's how that can work as well. Miss Latifah says, can you still have a 501c3 without grants and sponsorships? I don't know much about getting grants. Yes, you can. I did it for for a long time until I got enough knowledge to say, hey, you're missing out on money. I had to get on myself this week. It's too much knowledge in my brain, too much knowledge in Jeremy's brain to say, hey, why are we not filling out for 501c3? Filling out for these grants and things, because the money is out there directly. If you don't know much about getting grants, Latifah, there are a lot of free classes, okay? There's a lot of free and some do charge. Grant writers do cost, okay? I'm gonna be honest, just being honest with you. So you have, if you find people on your team that know how to write real good, I promise I don't call myself a grant writer, but I guess I'm teaching a class, so I kind of have pretty much knowledge, and I've taken a lot of classes. As far as with grant writing, a lot of places like the junior leagues and things like that, they may have classes, and if you find a class under $100 for grant writing or teaching about sponsorships, you can. So yes, you can have a 501c3 without grants and sponsorships. I suggest at least start with the sponsorships and the different funding in order to get money in, because therefore you don't want to always pull money from your pocket. About that, I learned my lesson. So when we started off Love Speaks, before we became 501c3, we had a building that we had and everything. So I definitely said that God blessed us with this building because I had the extra funding out of my personal pocket to pay for the building. However, the knowledge of the person that I am now and what knowledge God has given me, I would never do that again. And so what ended up happening is that I was paying personally out of my pocket $600 a month to hold the building. No help, nothing. So I was like, I became frustrated and said, why my team won't help me? Why my board won't help me? It's because literally, hold on, that should have been communicated prior to, and you have to find a way to bring funding in order to provide that for the building. Okay. So you have to think outside also, Latifah, how can I bring money and resources into the organization? Do I have to X 5 people that I know per month to donate $50 to the organization to bring in money every month? And different things. Can I go out and send out donation and sponsorship letters to different businesses to donate to me every quarter? Can I go in but this is besides grants. Sometimes I just funny because you do not want to depend on grants. Do not depend on grants at all. Yes, you can get a grant, but do not depend on it. Don't get frustrated with them, everything. All right. So over here is the fees, but this is the process, you guys. And a lot of you guys may be like, gosh, that's all. Yes, that's literally all. Now, after you become 501c3, then you can fill out for your state tax exempt, which means you go in the store, you don't have to pay the state taxes. Accordingly, I turned in my paperwork for the state of Alabama like a whole month ago. They have not responded to me, but I am still awaiting and everything. And so, again, EINs are free. Name reservation is only for the state of Alabama, and it's only $28. Your articles of incorporation is going to be on your state website. You'll see the fee. And the 501c3, there's two separate forms. There's an easy and there is a 1023 and a 1023 EZ. Now, what we file is the form 1023 EZ. And the difference between the form, nobody would know literally which form you filed but the IRS. All the funders and all that would not know what type of form you actually filed, okay? Just to let you guys know that. What ended up happening is that the Obama administration basically came up with a shorter form for smaller organizations who really don't have no money. Sorry. So the fee for a 1023 easy is only $275 for a filing fee. If you do the 1023, it is $600. Okay. So what makes the difference between the forms? If you are a church, school, or a hospital, you have to file the long form. Let me help you guys out like that. There's a difference between a church, establishing a church, and a ministry. Please know that, okay? So if you start a ministry, you want to go around and feed the homeless, and you want women to come to a building and have Bible study, that's a ministry. Now, if you want to be a church where you had a board, deacon board, you want to have, that's different. Make sure you know what you're establishing, because a lot of people, a lot of pastors, a lot of ministers, a lot of apostles I talk to daily, I literally have to give them the difference between a church and a ministry. Because actually establishing a church versus actually starting a nonprofit organization ministry is two different things, okay? And so also, if you make over $50,000 already, then you want to file the 1023, not the EZ. The difference of that form for that part is that the IRS is going to want you to break down all of your programs and everything to that. So how long does the process take? Kind of ask the question. Jeremy answer. How long does it take to get a 501c3? Again, name, vision, and mission doesn't take long. Checking the name to make sure the name is available takes 5 minutes. If that, reserving the name through the state of Alabama takes 5 minutes. Your articles of incorporation can take anywhere from 5 days. Some states come back the next day. It depends on your state. I've never seen it take over a month. Texas took a month last month and everything. So it depends on if there's any issues, but of course, due to COVID, they have been going a little slower. EIN should only take 5 minutes. And everything. Your bylaws of conflict of interest depends on who's doing them, or if you're going to draft them yourself and everything. The 501c3, once it's filled out and turned in and everything for the EZ, it can take anywhere from 30 to 90 days. If it goes over 90 days, I'm going to use Eva because I love her. Hers had went over 90 days. Me and Eva over here like, what is going on? And so I was like, let me check my resources. Guys, I guess the paperwork got lost in the mail. I found it on the IRS website. Now, you won't always find it on the IRS website unless it reaches 90 days after they have actually basically gave you your determination letter. Now, if they had not already did that, you wouldn't see anything at all, okay? But just to let you know, the IRS right now is backlogged. They are still stuck in the IRS paperwork of August. All right. So again, how are they managed is by a board of directors. The IRS minimum is 3 people and everything. So that's you and 2 other people is all you need, okay? Most time that's you and you need a treasurer or a secretary, things like that. All right. How to maintain a nonprofit. Go through these is to meet regularly. Your board has to meet 4 times a year, once a quarter minimum. Now, most times you may meet more times, whether you have an event or whether you need to get a grant. Like my board has met a lot this year because of grant. I had to get information. We got a partnership with our city. So I had to have them on the phone again because we had to do background checks and different things like that. We had to do child abuse trainings and stuff like that. So definitely it took a little while longer. But the only mandate is 4 meetings. Only 1 have to be in person. That means Zoom. We're in person. However, the other ones can be in a Facebook group chat. It can be in a group meet. It can be in a text message. However you guys decide to do it, that's what it is. Keep good bookkeeping and records. Make sure everything, all the receipts, like Desiree was saying, keep all your receipts, your in receipts, your out receipts. Take pictures of the receipt. You can use actually, if you guys don't want to use QuickBooks and stuff like that, I understand it costs money. However, there is an app called CAM, CAM scanner, SCA. I'm gonna actually type it in the chat. Hold on, y'all. So it'll be so much better. And Jeremy taught me about this. If you scan any documents, it's gonna save it as a file. So if you save that, it'll save it and put it in the file folder and everything of your receipts and everything. Making sure your secretary keeps good notes, because if you guys watch Greenleaf, that's how they got caught up. Okay. They didn't have their stuff. They had money going somewhere and where they weren't supposed to go. You know, I'm gonna go. I love Greenleaf, but baby, they was doing everything, and then you think that you're getting away with it because you're underwriting stuff to certain people and saying it's for you. It doesn't work like that, okay, you guys. Make sure you're doing right with the money. Plan consistent programs. Make sure you involve the community. I make sure I try to post and be consistent with Love Speaks, Mothers of Angels. I've been consistent this whole month because it's Child Loss Month. But as far as with Love Speaks, I try to make sure that we are consistent. I make sure I still be consistent. Yes, even with COVID, be consistent, okay? Don't get political. You guys, you cannot tell people who to vote for when you have a nonprofit, unfortunately. You can encourage voting. Trust me, please vote this year, you guys, okay? All right? But I cannot tell you who to vote for, okay? I can't tell you don't vote for Trump. Ooh, but you know, go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay. You could speak out on the political parties that you like, but you cannot use your nonprofit's platform because you are a community leader. You can swing votes in your community depending on who you like and who you don't like. So you have to be careful using your platform on a political stance. And you know, as Kingdom, we're not supposed to be political anyway. Now our flesh, we have our likes and dislikes about a lot of people, but kingdom, we're not really supposed to be involved in that because we serve a king, not a president. So that's how you got to look at it. So, don't get political, because I know you guys see my Facebook, who's on my Facebook. Man, I post a lot of social justice stuff, a lot of stuff about, political candidates and stuff like that. But on our Love Speaks, on our business, you don't see none of that, because I'm not using those platforms to push my political opinion. So you can't do that, and the IRS will revoke your status if you're caught, if someone says something about it.
Right, definitely. Not me. Jeremy's not more social, so most people don't go. But people, I don't post about it at all. I feel like me myself again. I am the brand. Everybody knows me as Love Speaks. Everybody knows me as Mother's Angels and Hartman Consultant. Unfortunately, I do not post anything political at all. And everything. Now I do post a lot of stuff that may grab people's attentions, but it won't be political at all. I try not to kind of do it, but I am going to tell people, please vote this year. And I'm not telling you I'm not telling you guys to vote for Trump, but so definitely just make sure you guys go to the polls or send that information in this year, okay? And everything. Make sure you spend funds properly. That goes to the fact. I'm really good. If I ask the community, if I ask Facebook to give me $250 or 5 people to give me $50 on social media, I am very good for going back on there and telling them what I spent the money on and what I need for it, sending pictures. If you, let's say, feed the homeless, I'm gonna help you guys with this scripture. It is not saying that you cannot, as a nonprofit, not take pictures of you serving the homeless, but I wouldn't take a picture of the homeless. Difference, okay? So I try to tell people that people say, don't, always post what you're doing. Well, I post what I'm doing all the time, but I don't take picture of the person, or it's a way that you word things as well. So every year for Thanksgiving, we feed the homeless, we feed needy families for Thanksgiving, but I've never taken a picture of the homeless person with the plate. I don't want to take a picture of that or anything, but I do take your picture of the youth coming out with their t-shirts on of their organizations and coming out serving the food. It's for business purposes only, because what grantors do, what grant people do, the main question I ask you is, what's your website? They're going to go on your website and see, okay, what is such and such organization doing? What is this ministry really doing? They're going to literally be able to visually see. A lot of people have to visually see stuff, and people literally going to want to see what you're doing, or they want to go on your Facebook business page. Make sure you keep those updated with pictures of what you're doing and things like that. If you're not putting pictures of what's actually going on, keep the business pages engaged, you guys, okay? Make sure if you're sharing things that has to do with the organization, or you sharing things like if you have a youth nonprofit or anything, share stuff pertaining to youth or something, but keep the people engaged and everything so those pages don't go down. Follow rules and regulations of your nonprofit, bylaws and conflict of interest is just like that. Also, when you talk about spending funds properly, when you get these grants, making sure, like the guy asked me, what can I spend a donation money on? I told him you have to go back to what you told them that you was going to spend the money on. When we got our grant, I had to go back and we had to list all the stuff and had to actually do exactly what we said we was going to do with the money and everything. So again, higher nonprofits tax, that goes back to what we already talked about. You're still tax liable without a 501c3. You can still operate without a 501c3. You're not qualified for majority of the grants. However, you can still receive donations. They just won't be tax deductible, okay? Donations are not tax exempt, and without a 501c3, you're subject to state and local tax. Now, as far as the benefits of a 501c3, after you become 501c3, you then can file for the state tax exemption. I know in the state of Alabama, in order to get state tax exemption, you have to be federal tax exemption first. Okay. So also tax deductible contributions, possible exemption from state income sales and employment taxes. Now, the reduced postal rates, what I have learned with that over this year is that it has to be so much of something. Like it has to be a certain bulk. Okay. An exemption from federal unemployment tax, and can receive grants. Most grants and things that want you to be 501c3, some of them require on the grants that you be a certain amount of years, and some don't require. It just really depends. Okay, Jeremy said a lot of states give status once you're federal. You have to check with your state. That is correct. Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. Is that it? All right, this is the question y'all we get all the time. Oh Lord, can you get paid and still be a nonprofit? The answer is yes. Okay, so how to set it up? Don't ask me. Now I'm gonna type a name in the chat. This is who we refer people to. His name is Dr. William Clark. We actually work together. He sends people to me for their 501c3. I send people to him for funding, and he does grants and different things. But he also teaches a class called How to Set Up a Nonprofit Budget That Pays You Too. Okay, so directors and officers of the nonprofit cannot be paid. However, but the people who hold a position within a company can be. When you create a nonprofit, you can put yourself in any position within the company with the salary you set, but this is an invitation to give yourself an unlimited paycheck. I just read it, but I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown because it's so much easier. So for me, right now, I am Love Speaks founder. I am the president, and I'm CEO. Okay, I'm all of it right now. However, if me, India, want to get paid, I have to step down as a voting member on the board. Your board is supposed to be a volunteer board to manage the nonprofit, okay? It's supposed to be a group of volunteers. Your board is supposed to help you make money, y'all. I'm sorry. That's the number one thing. You don't want anybody on your board that does not understand the mission and vision. And when I say on your board, meaning they literally are helping you serve the vision. They should have some type of resources or some type of funding. They may have to pay dues. That depends on your board, how you guys want to do that. You have to communicate effectively. We have a board training, but basically what happens is that if you're going to be paid, then you have to literally be a non-voting member. So if I wanted to get paid, I wouldn't be able to be voting. But actually, I'm okay with that. Jeremy, please take control. I want to get paid. So, I know you got everything over there. Just make sure my board, we're good. So definitely it's 5 of us. So we're good. So basically, if I don't have to be a voting member at all, if I don't want to, I know that they're gonna make the sound decisions. And even if I can't put a little bug in their ear, and everything, we're good and everything because they understand the vision and mission of the organization. All right. All right, we are done, you guys. And I'm sorry we were a little long-winded. I just wanted to make sure I got everybody's questions out the way because a lot of people really don't understand nonprofits, and I really wanted you guys to understand it. So I guess I'm opening up the floor if any questions you guys may have.
Y'all better come on. Ask them questions. So, India, question for you. Okay, in order for you to get large donations, you have to have the articles of incorporation every time, correct?
Well, your articles of incorporation is what legalizes the nonprofit.
Okay, gotcha.
In order to get larger donations, you need to be 501c3.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I need the clarification on because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I did the 501c3 part, but I never did the articles of incorporation.
Now you cannot do a 501c3 without an article. It literally goes in line. So you can't receive status for a 501c3 if you don't have your articles, because in order to get the 501c3, the business has to be legal.
So I think I might have it all. I don't know. I have to.
Yeah. So all you have to do is go to the state's website, type in the name of the business, and it'll tell you what you are.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so suppose for the fiscal year, you don't get a lot of donations. You probably get like $2,000 for the whole year. And when it comes time to file taxes, do they consider that with a nonprofit? Do they consider like a loss, or is there a certain amount of money that they can get, or shouldn't be under?
Well, when you're a nonprofit and you receive money, it's not really a loss because really it's a nonprofit. So what ends up happening, I've been there, I've only made $2,000 for the year. There is a form once you become 501c3 that you have to file. It's called a 990. That is your tax form that you have to file and everything. And on the 990 form, if you did not make over $50,000 directly, you can just put, I did not make over $50,000 and you are complete. You have to file that form by May 15th of the following year after receiving 501c3 status.
Okay.
All right. If you only made 2,000, just make sure that you have that 2,000 lined up in your books. It's not a loss, it's a gain. There's not really a loss and everything. That's just how much money you made for the year.
This was good, you guys. Any more questions? Family? Family?
Oh, Latifah said, for a nonprofit, can you charge the members who are part of the organization? Example, a dance ministry with members that are part making donations, or does it have to be outside donations? No, you can have a ministry and you can, let's say, have you guys dance ministry and you could charge them $50 a month or whatever fee, and they have to pay that fee directly. That fee will be paid to the organization directly to pay for whatever you guys need to do. That's not a problem. Because again, because it says nonprofit doesn't mean that you cannot charge directly. So if you guys, let's say you guys have your arts workshops and you charge for the fees to come to the workshops and everything, that is fine. There's no problem with charging it and everything. You can definitely still charge for services and everything inside of that. Go ahead, Jerry.
All right. I wanted to add this for you guys because you guys are kingdom. So I do want you guys to know this. Basically how your church structure is set up. You have the deacon board and you have the pastor. The deacon board is your board of directors for the nonprofit. The pastor is the president. He is the voice, he is the face of the organization, basically. That is how it's set up. When you pay your tithes every month, that is the donation to the church. That's how it's set up. It's basically set up just like a nonprofit organization, but it has different titles. It's the exact same thing.
Cool. What's the choir do? Now let me stop.
They're members, they have to pay tithes too.
They have to pay the dues. They pay the dues, Tifa.
So y'all, like Tifa, to just tell you that Love Speaks, we had dues of $20 a month per member for a long time and everything, until God just told me to take the limits off, and I started not doing dues, but everybody basically had to fundraise the money and everything. I definitely have thought about bringing dues back, but now, like, if I need something, I definitely go to the board and say, hey, we need this, and basically we need to be able to do it. But your board should be pushing together to find ways to get grants and funding. So basically they're bringing their resources together so it don't pull from you guys' pocket. It's no way that you have to always self-fund. Now you may start out self-funding. Do not remain self-funding, because that's not how God literally wants us to be able to be. Again, not being broke. Your nonprofit shouldn't be broke. Your nonprofit should have money. It's no way that it should not.
Right. Unless you're a millionaire, you need tax deductions.
I do have one more question. So since I've been here in North Carolina, well, the first 3 years I started doing once a year Father's Day neighborhood thing, having a little barbecue, feeding the kids, and we honor a couple of fathers in the neighborhood. But then my grandson got sick, so I started an organization called Beating for Battens. So I've been running that now for 2 years. It started out with me doing beading, and I would sell the beads to kind of make money to support families with rare diseases. And if they need bedding or if they need whatever, we travel to them, we take them whatever they need. So we've done it 3 times already. Now, when I was looking up the paperwork out here in North Carolina, and I noticed there was a question. I don't know if it was for the 501c3 or if it was just to be the organization, the nonprofit itself. But it was a question as how long you've been doing certain services. Now, so my question is, if I was doing a service without having any kind of status, does that still count? Or would I have to wait until after I became the nonprofit to add those services onto forms or whatever?
That sounds like a 1023 form, not a 1023 EZ. Okay. So what ends up happening is on the 501c3 form for the 1023, you have to break down the program. You have to break down how long you do the program. You have to break down the budget for the program and everything.
Right.
All right. Okay. So that is where it comes for organizations who already been operating, because that's how I end up figuring out, okay, this is not literally what Love Speaks needs. We need a 1023 because we don't have all these programs. Right. That's what the 1023 is for. They don't ask you all of that because you're just starting. So you still want to break down your program. So just because you have one program versus 4 programs does not mean that you're not supposed to operate. So what you do, if you have that one thing that you do every year, you just write down and you break that down to what you do.
All right, that's good. I'm excited, y'all. Did y'all hear that? Unless you're a millionaire, you need tax deductions. You better come up with some 501c3s and add those articles of incorporation. Reggie with your t-shirt and sneaker game. You better come on, Bob. You better come on.
Look, I'm putting my 2-week notice in tomorrow.
No. We need that Chick-fil-A discount first.
Oh, no, sir.
Okay.
Listen, Reggie, you can't do that. I may need for you to write off some donations. We need some chicken biscuits, okay? And let me tell you guys, please do not underestimate how you get grants and funding. Also, I think Latifah asked me, is you get grants and funding also through relationships and networking, okay? You guys, do not underestimate those, okay? Because I have a client that literally called me and she wanted me to file her paperwork. So I filed it. Found out in the meeting that she work at Hart's Fried Chicken over here as a GM manager. I'm like, oh, yes. So I'm in the conversation like, we doing Operation Feed My Brothers where we feed the community every Thanksgiving. I'm like, you can donate some chicken. She said, how many pieces you need, India? I said, can you do 100? Yeah, what else you need? Oh, okay. Can you do some rolls? Yeah, I can do some rolls. I'm like, yes. Like, and then all I need is, I was like, what do you need from me? And I'm like, she didn't know what she needed. I said, well, as the GM, you're supposed to ask me for my letterhead. And I'm going to give you a letterhead so you can write off on your taxes, okay? Thank you. And we had chicken. I picked it up. So do not underestimate you guys' connections. If you know people that work in different businesses, you need somebody that work in a hotel business. You need somebody to work in a restaurant business. You need somebody that work in a car rental business. Get these connections, okay? Now, I used to work in the car rental business, and I underestimated, baby. I miss being able, people got upset with me because I had gave 10 people 40% off discounts with a car rental. But unfortunately, I don't work there anymore. So definitely understand your connections and everything that you can have or what you need. So you can easily go to these people and say, hey, you think you guys can, even IHOP, I'm a jank evil. When y'all come down here for the encounter, y'all gonna go to IHOP one night. I'm just gonna let y'all know that. So if you come and prepare to go to IHOP, Eva shuts down IHOPs, okay, you guys?
Hey, we keep that between us.
Lord.
So I was at IHOP in the afternoon one day. I was with one of my teenagers, I mentor. And I asked him, I said, I come here a lot. So let me ask you. He said, yes, ma'am. I said, what do you provide nonprofits? Well, what do you need? So I end up getting 100 pancakes for summer camp every year. And then for the first 3 years, he provided pancakes. But that 3rd year, he knew me by my first name, and I had his cell phone number on the business note. And I said, can you donate cash money this time? He said, oh yeah. And when I tried to give him my tax donation letter, he says, oh, I don't need it. I know you do what you do. And what I also did was text some pictures of the kids eating the pancakes because people want to see what you do with their money and everything. So just, please understand the power of networking. If people work in different businesses, don't mean that you want to take anything. But if they have a certain business, please get equipped.
And the one thing that you actually build the marketing is by supporting them. Let me clarify that. Now, let me tell you, this little heifer right here from Times of Democrat, that's a local newspaper. This little old white lady been coming here trying to drum up business through the drive-through, doggone it, every other week. She came through again last week. I said, ma'am, do you know why I'm not supporting you? Because you never bought a cup of coffee yet. Have a great day. Kick rocks. Then my girlfriend, soul sister, she came through, got her a cup of coffee. It's like, man, I'm thinking about putting some articles in the Times of Democrat. She worked for the same business. So people are going to know because you support them. They are willing to give you more money if they know your character in the community, if they know who you are in the community, if you will walk up honorably. There's too many people ripping off, crooks, you name it. So they're not going to invest in somebody if they don't know the character. I'm sure, doggone it, that Eva McLeod don't have no problem getting no support up in Mobile, Alabama, as much as she be ministering up all in them neighborhoods. Listen, but you got to be smart. When I have my workshops, I literally go to the big corporation that know my heart, know me from where I work. And because of my integrity, I have never had, well, how do you think I brought Ernest Pugh in? Because they sponsored him. Y'all with me? So you have to understand your power in the community, but you can't just be all willy-nilly with it. You have to have a character that they're willing to invest in. So if I'm walking around the neighborhood in my pajamas, ain't nobody gonna give me no money. Marketing yourself is vital. Some people came to an interview when we were looking for somebody here at the agency to work on the coffee side. This girl came in there with a bonnet on and flip-flops and pajamas. You got to be kidding me. Girl, stop wasting my time. Have a great day. If you don't have the audacity to promote yourself and walk in integrity, they're not going to buy into you. So did y'all have any more questions? Y'all good? You good, Eunice? I mean, you ain't been on here not one time. I get you on here one time and you going in, girl. Got people shooting each other on the background and all. What's up with that? So listen, India and Jeremy, I wanted to share the scripture with you guys. I'm recording this. It can go on record. This is a scripture that God gave me for you guys, which is, write this down, 1 Chronicles 4:10. Okay, listen to me. This is what, and last thing, same thing happened. He gave me scripture. I don't know where this is coming from, but anyway, Jabez cried out to the God of Israel, oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm, so that I will be free from pain. And God granted his request, sweetie. That thing that you're teaching, what I saw on yesterday, that's your heartbeat, girl. That's where you are going to process. That's where God is going to elevate besides the business, because you're so down to earth and so real with it. It's like, okay, like the good and bad cop, me and my husband do that all day long. I don't know why I'm always the bad cop though, but overall, whatever works, you know. He's like, I have to keep my wife happy, but I'm looking forward to the growth of you guys. I speak increase. You guys, Jeremy, share your Cash App one more time. This is free information that you normally would pay for, you guys. So sow in them. If this is helping your ministry, they came on here freely. I'm so glad you guys hung in there with us tonight. And I'm so glad that you guys did this, and just, it was so good. It was so good. I know we got a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding. Eva, did you have anything else, girl?
Come on,
No, ma'am.
Oh, you got off easy, India. She been laying them out last week, laid the poor woman. You went, y'all saw that, right? Oh God.
See, don't be telling on me.
Hey,
Quit
listen,
telling on me.
recorded.
You
It's
giving us a
public
break.
view.
We're
It's
good.
public view. So listen, we're excited. Next week, I have another special gift. I'm telling you, for the next 2 months, this is my goal. This is what I want to teach. We can go shama shama ding dong all day long. Y'all can, I mean, I'm for real, y'all. Listen, invest into the people that know that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Just like Chapman, man, the girl was on fire, gave us so much knowledge. And one more question, India, do you guys help with LLC and nonprofits all out throughout the United States?
Yes. I
Let me,
don't know how many states we've done, but yes, COVID, we do every state. Yes.
all right, just want to make sure, because I don't want y'all to contact them and they're only limited to Alabama. I didn't catch that.
No limitations over here.
Come on, honey, no limitations. As long as it's green, honey, as long as it's green.
But no, we do every state, and I left our website
I see it.
down there, and I'm going to send our Facebook business page link as well, so you guys can follow us on there.
Right. And you can send it in the group, in the Zoom group too. So for those people
Okay.
who did not get it, I'm going to stop recording. I'm really excited. I appreciate